Welcome back to the Quest for Treasure and the Quest for Details channel. We're at a little house site that I remembered, and it's in a park, but it's a big old hiking park, about 15 square acres or something, and heavily wooded. They have scotch broom, eucalyptus that they're always trying to clear out of here, and it looks like it's pretty empty right now, not all overgrown. And you can see they actually had to carve back into the hillside here a little bit to make the flat. And they built it kind of down in the gully. Now there's bottle dumps that I've been at, but every time that I was ever at this foundation, you can see it was brick. So this was a home, and it was somebody who could afford bricks back in the day. It's actually a pretty big one. And the roads that lead up to here that everybody hikes on now actually have ruts in them from the metal tires of the stagecoaches, from the horse-drawn carriages. So, every good sign, and I've never detected here. So, it's hot and balmy underneath the trees. So we're going to take a second, take a breath, and then we'll start poking around in the dirt, because I believe this is the road right in front of the house. So, we'll see what might have fallen off the porch. Wild carrots, lovely. These are my favorite things besides thistles and poison oak to hike through. See, this cut for the house actually goes back into the hill. You see this big, this isn't native for right here, and neither is that one hiding behind there, these big old trees. But I actually know the people, the family that owned all of this land, and they own an estate in the front of this, and it's the second oldest house in this town. And this was their land that they donated 40 years ago, something, to the town to make into a park, because it was they weren't doing cattle and all that anymore, so they still have all the barns and everything. So this is probably like the head something or another private house. But anyhow, you can see here where they actually cut back into the hill to make the flat spot. So I don't think we'll be searching out in the berries, but there was life here for long enough to build a brick home. So this little piggy was staying for a while. Okay, no joke, a lot of work. And first hole, and you can see here's the pinpointer down in it. Crazy hole. So just way too much work is what I thought. I was about to give up on it. Put the pinpointer down in there one more time. It's finding modern broken glass. I was like, okay, huge hole. I don't ever dig anything that big. I mean, look at the shovel compared to it. And right on the edge, saw this sticking out. It was literally right there. And I already don't recognize it. No clue. So that's exciting. I'm not gonna thumb it because last time I did that it was gold and you guys freaked out. So hang on. I do not recognize this coin, what it is, or where it's from. So somebody must know. I mean, that's obviously a seal on the front. What does it say? R-W-M? Okay, let me know. I will try and look it up, but I don't even know what to type in. Double lion crust with olive branches? There's no other words besides that on there. I have no idea what it even is. Scandia token? Just kidding. Could be a gaming token, but it's pretty cool looking. So that's pretty cool. Our first target, and it's a coin. What I'm having to deal with is these wads of stuff, and these are buried. You can see that far down in the edge here. You can see how far down this foundation has gone. So this hillside has slipped on it with mass erosion and wasting. So I mean, I'm down that far. The ground is laden with barbed wire and stuff. Probably leaned against the building at one time, but the coin was like right here. So that's why we can't just give up. I'm hearing more 80s. You throw this wad down, it'll give you an 80 though sometimes too, you know. I looked this up. I remember the RWM, and it's a mint that does tokens, but they've also done tokens for a very long time. So I couldn't find this on my phone because you know how search engines are on a little Android. So if anybody recognizes what era, it would be cool to date this back to whenever, because there's been fairs in this town forever. No telling what it's doing out here, except for it probably came with the house, or some kids playing in the park playing treasure, who knows. But another token found way out in the middle of nowhere. There's the double lions. Well, it's getting a little bit later. It's getting a little bit cooler. That's a nicer thing. And whole thing. This is a huge site, so I'm just going to keep searching through the whole thing, and let you know if I find anything else. So I just found an 81, and this is a 91, so they're not ancient or anything, but you know, where there's coins, there's coins. Humans repeat patterns. We'll keep going. Next little pop out. It's not very deep. It's another modern penny. This one's a 79, so we've jumped back. So who knows? We'll just keep hitting the area. So here's the next one. And it is ringing between 75 and 90, but it says it's right in the hole. So I'll pop this out with you. So I got the pinpointer. You can't hear it because I'm out in public, so I'm being non-rude. Plus, the more stealthy you are, the less complaints anybody will have. It's always a good thing. Oh, stop. So it says that it's right there. Oh, yeah, it's another penny. 79. Okay, we'll keep going. Coin, coin, coin. When it's dry, it's easier. It's actually better for the ground to knit together if you do a little crumbling. There's no top cover, we're under the trees. So do the crumbling and it actually stays in the hole. Otherwise the clods can get kicked out. And you mash it up a little bit and it'll stay down in there better and fit down in there better. Here's our next signal. Just popped it poop out of there. Oh! And threw it back down the hole. That's where it was. I guess hallucinating on what the target actually was. And 2,000 something. Aye, okay. Okay, here's our next nice tone. Came out of this hole, and it's another bigger target. Oh, it's another token. Oh, with the shovel strike on it. Sorry about that, but it's a matching token. The other one there, I worked all the way out through there in the front of the house. Came back, now I'm over here, so between there and there could be anything, but we have a, I know that looks bad, but it's actually just a scuff. I'll show you. Whew. You know, I had to go pretty darn deep in there, so I was on the giving up point again. These have a real rocky tone. Goes from 80s and around down into the 70s and stuff, but it can be a ring too, so yeah. There's our other one. Telling me that there's more in the hole with it, so we're gonna check this edge, try and clean up the signals, and see what else might be there, because it's multiple at this point. Well, this is the next thing that came out of the hole, and it looked like big garbage at first. And then I stopped and I realized that there's like an intricate pattern here. And I think I see flowers and little dots and stuff, so it's super thin, but it's an actual little floral pattern of something, so that's probably pretty old. We'll stash that there and go after some more. This is cool. So here's the next couple pieces, really delicate, trying to get it out of there, but that'll be the edge of a little bowl. So that'll probably be pretty cool. It's too bad that it didn't come out whole, but it's really hard ground, and that would be really impossible. I also see there's old break, so it's not us. But mason jar here. So that's what that high signal was. It's pretty awesome. Getting some history out of the hole. Here's our next target, and it's literally only skin deep under the surface. And what used to be the old road going uphill, and I see it's in hard rock, and I see wagon marks from the old stagecoaches, so there was a road on that side and this side, and so it's probably a whole little crotch here had little houses on every little flat spot. But looks like some crazy heavy duty, I don't know, top of a bolt. See, there's a shaft, or it's very heavy to be a button or anything. I think it's steel. We'll clean it up. Okay, here's our little 3-hour checkup on this site. So here's our garbage and stuff we found. Really old garbage and some really new garbage. 3 different shelves. Here's this, so I'll have to give you the info on these and clean this up and do a little bit more of a wrap up before this is all over. And this thing, whatever it is. So we'll consider this the field wrap up, and then there's the coins that we got. So the garbage won't be here next time, but I'll have this stuff more figured out and cleaned up. So we'll be back in a flash, and I'm going to high-tone my way out of here. So some of that might be on this or in the cleanup too. Otherwise we'll see you there. Here's my next signal. It's another one of these spots. Of course there's 1,000 tones. But it is obviously a clad. 2010. God, I got a lot of mosquitoes on me. So there is a dump here. Looks like people have been going to town on it. I'm not gonna dig because people have been and leaving it open, and it's right by the trail. So be a chance for me to look like it was me, and I don't want to. There's whiskey bottles here that are cork tops, but their seam goes all the way up to the top, so they aren't applied tops, but it shows that it's pretty, you know, 19th century, but yeah, all of them have seams that go up to the top, so nothing before 1900 probably. But it could be something to come paw through at some point in the future, so we'll let whoever's been digging on it space out and the leaves fall and then come be a little more discreet or something. Is kind of how you do that. Unless you think that there's a mad rush, but I don't see anything square. I see a lot of screw tops in 40s and 50s, and yeah, even the push kind of looks like a big tractor push to start the hole instead of a little hand dug thing. And anything that's a cork bottle, here's another one. Let's see. Yeah, all of them have a seam that go all the way up to the top, so. But it's cool, and it's here. I think we did pretty well with our coins today, so I'm not going to do any bottle digging. Yeah, 1 quart, probably bleach. But I think we might drop down across the little creek here, because what I see is stacked rocks and a flat spot, which in a creek is pretty rare. It's kind of built up and down this gully. I already checked that area, so we'll head on down there, and I can see they dug into the hillside there and made a flat area. Yeah, this is pretty cool. You can see they dug the hillside out there and then piled them up here to make the flat spot. And there's been a fire, which removed a lot of the brush, so we can see that there's actually pipes sticking up out of the ground and stuff. So let's go look at that. There's a brick, there's more bricks. Whatever this thing is, it's a wishing well or a lid to a well. That's probably what that is the lid to a big old well. See the pipe and the shaft coming out of the middle. That's pretty cool. And big old flat spot. And it's just white rock. And there's a barn down there that I've been to, and they literally back in the day dug that whole cut that you can see taken out of the mountain and used that basically from here on down as banking, as retainment to build up a flat area. So pretty sure that that's what this is, but we'll beep and bop around the structure a little bit because there is obviously something here. Most likely the water house though, and you can see the spring coming down the hill. That's that green stripe. It kind of ends up right here, and there's sedge grass and a little swamp. And the other creek is coming down, so good spot to put your water house. And if you look over in the distance, that's what you're looking at, is the water tower. So they would actually pump the water up to the top of that and let it fall down into the structures below, so it would have gravity pressure. We were glimpsing was up in those trees. I'm clear across here, and we're getting, oh, Garrett, sorry. We're getting legs off of stoves, and this is a big old wad of copper wire. And who knows what that is, and who knows what that is. Just sticking out of the bank, and I can see another row of big old rocks here, so I don't know how much actual detecting we're going to be able to do compared to just looking at the junk. There's the next thing, big old cast iron leg, a little detail at the end, hollow on one side. That's pretty cool. Okay, so here's some more details on these. I have not found out what the tokens are. I know the company that they're made by. I just can't figure out which era those come from. Obviously not super modern, but was it 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 70 years ago, because they've been made the whole time. Not that exact style, but the company that makes the tokens. They're one of the main token makers in our country. This is what ended up being a silver bowl. If you can picture that, it's got a little bit of a bevel to it. The edge is actually, the top part is a little rolled edge, if you can see the detail on it. But this is the beautiful part. I don't know if you can make it out, but those are cherry blossoms all the way around with really intricate patterns. And then look in the middle. So that's either Japanese or Chinese. All of that rock heaving and removal that I showed you and stacking and everything was typically Chinese workers in my area. We actually had camps, and so you can still find the old China camps. So huge amount of immigrants that were coming in through the San Francisco Bay, and they were used right next to the enslaved indigenous people to move a lot of rock. So we have 1,000 acres, well, no, millions of acres of stacked rock walls here that lead all over the hillsides, and stone bridges and everything else. But yeah, there's the symbols. So I did some etchings. This one ended up being in black and white. Here's the little lip, that's all that we recovered of it, but cleaned it up. It's definitely silver. Did a little scratch test, and that's what she be. And so the black and white rubbing, not so great. Really impressed by the purple. I used purple colored pencil, and here I carefully went over the symbol. So if somebody could tell me what that says or what that means, I'm not sure if it's a rune or a letter or a word. And the flower pattern shows up a little bit stronger. I did several of them, some focusing on just the flowers and the patterns behind it, and then some focusing on or just the different parts, because as you can see it's broke and kind of bent, so I can't lay it exactly flat. So you gotta do it like a map, do little pieces of it, and then I could put it all together, but for now this is gonna be good enough. Here's a dark one that I did. Look at those flowers. So I believe it's not a press, because I can see little circular either pour or lathe marks that go on it, and it's not dented on this side, so it wasn't pressed from this side with a stamp, but may have been stamped from this side, but not pressed through. And I think it's really cool because it kind of ties in some of the Asian influence. It could have also just been a collector piece for the family that lived there. This could have just been gone with their tea set, you know. It was really popular as we were connecting the world up. So pretty cool though, I think. Pretty beautiful. And then, as if the cool tokens and the silver plate weren't enough, what I was looking at in the fading light in the hillside that I thought was rust was not rust. Now I know a lot of you metal detectorists, people who hunt older silver, would instantly go, look at the green and the red. My eyes saw orange and rust on it, and it looked to me like a snapped off bolt or something, which is kind of what it is. I did a real light buffing on it, and that's what showed up. And you can see it was reading 80, 81, and I couldn't be sure. So what I did is I walked over to a magnet, and it's completely non-magnetic, completely the right color for silver, extremely heavy and soft. And so what I think this is a piece of horse tack. I think this is off like a Spanish saddle. The roadway that we found it in, it was literally like this, is hard rock underneath of it. Well, not hard, it's tufa, but I mean it's got ruts that you can see on sections of it that run, you know, they'll be paralleling, and it's where literally the old stagecoaches, the old horse-drawn wagons cut their tires into it. This was laying in that, and it really doesn't flip over easy, you know, just the build of it, it lays there. And if you look at it, It's sat in between that rock and everybody's stepping on it forever, but there hasn't been cars on that road for probably, if there ever was, you know, it would have been 40 years. And then before that, only horse-drawn wagons. So I believe that what you're looking at is early piece of silver Spanish horse tack. It's heavy too, that's solid. It's not hollow. That's probably an ounce of silver. So it's another sign that it's old, because it's not hollow on the inside. It's not just a showpiece. This was like a heavy chunk of stuff. And it literally was more rounded. It fell off, hit the ground, and laid there long enough for in an old enough period of time to where that road actually had travel. Now it's only footpath, and it's narrowed down to probably a 3-foot little strip where humans are keeping it bare. They've lost the 6 to 7 foot wide road that was there, you know. So this got mashed down back in the day when there was still horses and people on it, is what I'm saying. It's what it's telling me. I mean, that is really mushroomed down from the round thing that it should be. And it's old and it's heavy. It's beautiful silver. It's just gorgeous, shiny. I know that might not be the right thing to do, but that's basically what I did, and the silver came out of it. And yeah, no rust, just the weird pink and green that comes on the blue of silver. Getting to know the look of it though, and the weight, even the sound when it thunks down on the ground, it's more like gold. So I know I'm going off with it, but I am a bit enamored. I wasn't expecting to find coins. I mean, I was hoping. Old house site way out in the woods. Look how hot it is. I'm beaten up with sweat. And that house, yeah, is the second oldest house in the first county of California. And the hill that we were on, if you climbed up to the top of it, it's 30 miles from San Francisco, so they used to sit and watch the ships come in and drop immigrants off, and own all the hay fields all around there and stuff. I was the gardener on that property, so I know the owner currently who bought it from the people who owned it off into history. So sometimes shiny metal shows up a little bit darker, nicer in the dimmer light under the trees. Here's that patina. For some reason it just looked orange and rusty to me, but it was pink and blue, and I don't want to say green, just whatever that is. It's that weird matte that it gets. Right on, right on. It's the one big knoll of a hill that sticks up out of the valley at basically the mouth of it, where it heads out to the San Francisco Bay. That's where you were. That's what we found on our first go through. So it's obviously a rich site from early on that got moved on from, and then the modern world walks by it all, not realizing what's under their feet and what the foundations are. But yeah, a brick foundation. And they had a little money, and they were throwing silver in the ground and losing even their saddles and stuff were fancy. So, but the bricks alone, whenever you see a brick foundation that's old, I mean, that's a lot of money right there. So hope you enjoyed that. I did. We got silver and coinage for the collection. We will see you next time. Off to a couple new locations, and yeah, happy hunting, good luck. Remember, you can like, share, and subscribe, and comment. Tell me what I should and shouldn't do right and wrong, and then we'll see you out there. Thanks for watching The Quest for Details.